Hey friends, it's Jasmine. I hope you all are doing well. Today, I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about some things that have been going on in our local pagan community here in Indianapolis. So, per my past couple videos, I was talking about things that were going on with the CIC board member election. And a lot of you guys watch those videos. So if you don't already know, the update on that is that David Melton did get elected to be our new CIC representative for the Indianapolis pagan community, which is awesome. And we're all very excited about that. David's term, his 3-year term, is due to start January of 2021. So in the meantime, we still have Ashley Wagner as our representative for the Indianapolis pagan community on the CIC board. So the CIC board member is supposed to represent the entire community. That's what their job is supposed to be there for, to help work on the CIC, spread awareness, education, all those good things, and, be of service to the community. Recently, we had the 2020 Mabon Witches Banquet, which was pretty good. We had about 35 or so people, I think, show up. We were limited to 50 people, and we had about 35 people in attendance, which I think with how this year has gone, and a lot of obstacles that as a community we've had to overcome, as well as just general obstacles with COVID and everything, I think that's pretty good. It was a very successful event. It was really nice to see a lot of faces who I haven't seen in a while. And we had a really beautiful community unity ritual as well. The cake that we had was super cute. We had a pumpkin jack-o'-lantern themed cake and a graveyard themed cake. One chocolate, one vanilla. Both had buttercream icing. So that was really cool. And we had plenty of wonderful Starbucks coffee provided. All in all, it was a really good event. And I really feel like that event really facilitated some healing. Let's just get right to the chase here and talk about the new things that have transpired within the local Indianapolis pagan community. Because I want to make sure that everyone is up to date and that everyone is very well informed about the things that are going on in this community. And the reason for that is because I think that our community as a whole can serve as an example for other communities on things that our community that we do really well and things in our community that we don't do well. And I seek to kind of explore both of those avenues and have a dialogue about both of those avenues, about what we are doing right as an Indianapolis pagan community and where we need to work more. From my own opinion and from my own perspective. And that's why you're here watching my channel. And that's why you're here watching this video, because you clicked on this video wanting to know what I think of this situation. Like my other videos, okay, I will be posting receipts. Okay, so make sure that you stay tuned throughout the end of this video, because I will be screen sharing and posting receipts and showing you guys from my own eyes what I am seeing and where I am actually drawing these perceptions from an entirely objective standpoint, right? This is my opinion, but there's also objective facts involved in this, okay? So it's kind of a mix of both. And if you've watched the past 2 videos of I Will Not Be Silenced and I said what I said, then you know exactly what I mean and you know exactly what I do and don't stand for. And if you've been watching my channel for the past couple years, you already kind of know my personality and you know how I get down, and I'm a very direct kind of girl, right? So if I think something and if I believe something, I'm going to speak on it and I'm going to stand behind what I said, because I said what I said, right? Okay. So that being said, we're all very excited that David is the representative. No qualms there. Sounds great. He is a person for the people. Wonderful. He attended the banquet. Wonderful. Everything was announced at the banquet. Wonderful. Everyone's excited. There's really no qualms there. However, let's talk about our current representative. So that would be Ashley Wagner. who is still our current board rep as it stands while I film this video. Now, things could change. Things look a little tumultuous, to be honest with you. It kind of looks like it might not be for long, okay? And there's some reasons for that, and we're going to explore some of those reasons. And I'm going to talk to you guys about it and just kind of illuminate some of these issues that are taking place here. So this person, Ravina, made a post in the Conclave group that they would like to be a moderator. They feel they're fit to be a moderator because they're a social worker and they have people skills and they would be able to de-escalate situations. And there's been some overall concern in the community about groups and covens and kindreds and, you know, associations within the pagan community trying to lobby or have influence over the CIC board representative. I don't necessarily totally understand what influence or power over the CIC representative anyone would have, but that's kind of neither here nor there. I do think that Ravina would be well fit to be a moderator. However, I did make a comment expressing some of my confusion, I think would be the right word to put, on what power do some of these groups really have over the community as a whole. As a practicing witch who's out of the broom closet, as a high priestess at the Solar Court Coven, as a divination instructor and occult teacher, that's all, right? Like, I don't necessarily feel like I have this insurmountable power over the community. And after talking with some other coven leadership, they kind of feel the same way. None of us really feel like there's really any power here, and instead it kind of feels like some of these solitary witches are actually having some trauma, potentially from an Abrahamic organized religious background. And so anytime there's any sort of organization, they attempt to rebel against it. But what you don't realize is that you're not really rebelling against anything. Myself and other high priestesses and high priests in this community don't actually want to be an admin or a moderator in the Facebook group. I have my hands full enough with my occult school and my coven and my job. Like, I don't want to admin the Conclave group, I promise. I don't want to moderate the Conclave group. I'm willing to be a part of the group and express any concerns that I might see or have. And I'm willing to have dialogue with our current representative to make sure that people are being appropriately represented. But that's it. I'm willing to vote, right, on who our next representative is going to be and have those dialogues. But that's it. I don't want in any way to be responsible for the actual conclave. And, you know, I'm not necessarily sure if it's really needed to have a HP of a specific group be running that. I do think having more people unaffiliated with groups is a good idea. And actually, that's one of the reasons why I thought so highly of David, is because he was willing to actually step down from his position to do this service. And that's exactly what being a representative is it's being of service. That being said, our current representative is definitely, and our current representative being Ashley, is definitely kind of going through some interesting motions here. Okay. And I have been friends with this person on Facebook for at least the past couple years. And I have noticed a bit of a spiral, mental health wise, plummeting, if you will. And I'm not making this video seeking to shame anyone who struggles with mental health. And I'm not even making this video to call her out or to make her feel attacked, because I know that she already feels that way. And I think a lot of that is definitely something that is very internal. And I think that is also a lot of projection. Like, she just feels attacked and she feels the need to go on the defensive without really thinking. And instead, they just kind of abruptly and abrasively react to situations instead of really handling things maturely. And I say this as someone who I've seen the complete natal chart, so I know astrologically how this candidate, or representative I should say, is set up. And also, I have had direct conversations with this individual, especially over the past couple of weeks when we were going through this election. So Ashley still is our state representative with the CIC and is still in that position until the end of this year. Now, Ashley has stated that when their position and their term is over, that not only will they be leaving the Conclave and not being an admin of the Facebook Pagan Conclave group anymore, but they will also be walking away from the entire community. That they will be leaving the Pagan community. Ashley has also made essentially like a 4 to 5 page worth of an essay about their frustration with the Indianapolis community, which most of it basically had to do with the fact that they felt like when they were a representative, no one was in the group and no one was making waves and no one was having dialogue, and they felt very isolated and that they could have used a lot more help. However, most, if any, I don't think any of the group leaders of covens or kindreds or groves were really contacted or talked to. And if they were, she really only talked to specific ones. And it really is the representative's job to extend that olive branch and start that dialogue. It should not be our jobs as HP to facilitate that sort of dialogue, because that's not the position that we signed up for. And like I said, that's not our job. So Ashley has made several concerning Facebook posts and statuses as of recently, which kind of to me look like red flags, mental health red flags, such as the status where Ashley Wagner said, "My therapist knows all of your names."
Oh.
Okay. So I think that would show that the local Indianapolis pagan community is weighing heavy on her mind. She also, within the conclave, made a long post about how members of the Pagan Conclave group have made this year for her one of the most emotional, tumultuous years of her life. Which, if you've watched the past 2 videos, what was going on was that we were trying to make sure that whoever got elected as the next state representative or CIC representative be able to adequately and efficiently represent all individuals within the Indianapolis pagan community. When you sign up for a position such as that, especially it is political, it's going to be exhausting sometimes. It's going to be a taxing, tireless job that is going to be thankless because it is a position of service. So I'm sorry that, your job that you signed up for was hard on you, but baby, it's what you signed up for. You signed up for it. You chose this, right? Also, okay, going back to the original post I was talking about earlier where Ravina was offering to be a moderator, which is wonderful, and I think it's great that we have more solitary influence in the conclave. I think that all pagans should be represented, all witches should be represented, solitaries or members of groups or whatever, all races and nationalities and, sexual orientations and gender identities and all of those things. Able-bodied and those who are disabled. Like, I want representation and equality and justice for all. Let that be known, okay? That's where I will always stand. And I think, the thing with Ashley is that I actually think that we have a similar outlook, and I think that we both actually want representation and justice for all. But I think we go about things very differently. And I think that Ashley is incredibly mentally unwell and impulsive and reckless in this community, and I don't really think that they think before they act too much. Now, taking this back into the election, and I believe I showed some of these receipts in the last video, but while the election was going on, Ashley Wagner actually asked me to run for the representative. They said that they thought I was smart and, I'm good with people and I'm young. They made a point to say that because I'm young, I would be a good candidate because I could represent our community more adequately than, you know, someone who was older. And I turned this offer down completely, as I have absolutely no interest to run as a representative. And I told Ashley that not only do I think that I'm far too controversial, but I'm not willing to step away from my coven and my role as high priestess within the coven in order to fulfill that role. And that is something that at this moment, that's what that calls for. And that's not something I'm willing to do. I'm not willing to step away from my magical tradition. I'm not willing to step away from my magical family in order to do so. Absolutely not. That's not for me. I definitely value the position, and I think it's wonderful that people are willing to step up to that, because I think that it is of a benefit to the wider community, especially externally outside of the pagan community. But it's not something that I personally feel called to do, nor is it something that I want to do, nor do I even want to be an admin or a moderator of the Facebook group, right? I just want to be a member because I'm a member of this community. And I have a say, and my voice, just like everyone else's voice in this community, matter. No matter what your position or status or who or what you are, your voice in this community matters, and your voice deserves to be heard. And I think that's why it was so upsetting to me when the silencing was taking place, because it was so uncalled for, and it was an act against Lady Justice herself, and it was an act against what is right and what is good. And I can't stand for that, regardless of the circumstances. So there was silencing taking place beforehand during the election. There was silencing taking place beforehand during the election. And if you aren't familiar with that, you're gonna wanna go back and watch the previous 2 videos of I said what I said and I will not be silenced. Ashley Wagner, however, commented on Ravina's post, and because I had asked a question of, hey, I'm a little confused here, how are groups attempting to use some sort of power over the community, and what power is that? Because if so, I would like to be informed, and I would like to be in the know, so I know what's going on and I know what I can do to prevent that, because that is not something that I stand for or would tolerate or endorse either, okay? And instead, what Ashley did was she commented on the post and basically said, oh, it looks like it's going to be how predictable. It looks like it's going to be the Jasmine and Tamara show. So she miswrote another high priestess's name. Her name is Tamara, not Tamara. Not sure if that was intentional, but knowing Ashley's current state of mind, it would not be surprising to me if it was, okay? So when she commented that, I was a bit floored, because you are supposed to be in a position of, your position is supposed to be that of neutrality and representing everyone. And here you are making an absolute fool of yourself and of your position by completely showing your ass and having an emotional reaction, having a cups reversed instead of a swords upright, which is the mindset and the energy that you as a representative should be carrying with you pretty much at all times, especially when it comes to public spaces and public speaking. And even a Facebook group is still public speaking, right? Because we're dealing with members of our community here. So I messaged Ashley privately and asked her, hey, not really sure what's going on. Would you like to have a civil conversation? Or would you like to just continue to vague book? And if you don't know what vague booking is, it's essentially where emotionally damaged people throw bait out into the social media algorithm. And they don't really say anything, but they insinuate something to try to get a reaction out of people. And that is something that Ashley Wagner is known for and has done continuously over the past several, couple weeks, especially in terms of the election and people in the community. and even within the Conclave group. And I don't think that sort of behavior should be endorsed or tolerated. And while she was elected almost 3 years ago, I think that her position should be reevaluated at any point in time. And I think that, acting an absolute fool and showing your ass, and targeting not just myself, but another high priestess, as well as deleting, unfriending, removing members of the Solar Court Coven who didn't even say anything on the post, is ridiculous and is once again another form of silencing. This is silencing, is what this is. Which is ironic to me and almost hysterical, honestly, because several days ago or about a week ago or so, Ashley Wagner made a long post in the Conclave about how they don't feel heard and how no one participated up until this election and how boohoo, poor is me. But then now that people are participating, it's a problem because they don't agree with her, or they think that she's immature or is behaving brashly. And that's what she's doing. So I am going to be showing you some of these receipts here. You can kind of form your own opinions. I just personally think that, based upon the past couple weeks and based upon this new kind of come abouts and how our current state representative has acted, I think that they are completely inequipped to be in any position or platform of a voice or authority whatsoever. I think that this is an individual who is really going through some hardship, is incredibly mentally unwell, and is impulsive, and is not only a verbal and vocal disaster, but could potentially be a threat also to themselves. And I think that them continuing this position could potentially set them up for more harm that they could be doing onto themselves. And it's sad. It is sad. So I wish the best for her, but that's kind of where we are. To recap, David Melton is now our community representative, and Ashley Wagner is on her way out of being our state representative. And it's really sad that this is how her term is ending, and that we are having this very public, emotional tidal wave taking place. When I messaged her and I said, would you like to have a dialogue? She asked me to leave her alone. So she's fully comfortable of communicating her opinions. Let it be known. She doesn't have a problem talking about people on a public platform. But when said person actually directly messages her, she can't be bothered. And in fact, she actually blocked me for reaching out to her. I don't know if she felt threatened or what the deal was, but she kind of just cried, leave me alone, and blocked me. I don't know if she was scared or, like I said, I know that she's going through a lot, and she posts all of this publicly on Facebook for everyone to see, which I don't think is super tasteful for our state representative. Okay. So I'm going to roll some of these receipts. You can form your own opinions. And once again, congratulations to David Melton for being our new state representative. Blessed be, guys.